everyone, Miss Carrie here from Miss Carrie's Creations. Today I have a simple yet stunning travel layout to share with you that I created with a scrapbook kit. In this video tutorial, I'll guide you through the process of creating stenciled images with watercolors. I can't wait to share this project with you. I'm working with the Daydream Limitless kit from Not Just for Boys Kit Club. This is such a wonderful kit filled with bright summer prints that have been paired with some distressed patterns and neutral colors. To go with the pattern papers, there is a collection of ephemera, 3 stencils, puffy letter stickers, and some envelope journal bits. This kit also includes a cardstock title cut, which can be shaded with color or used as is. As I create today's project, I'll bring in a few more supplies. In the description below, you will find the list of the supplies I'm using, along with a link to the kit. These photos were taken years ago when our daughter was on a missions trip, so I plan on keeping this page simple and reminiscent of the memories that she has from there. I'll be adding some mixed media into the background, so I'm starting out with a paper which will hold up to the wet mediums I want to use. The 2 photos are going to sit in the center on some soft blue cardstock, and I'm going to frame this with a yellow floral pattern. With both of these being horizontal, I want to bring in a vertical element to frame these photos. This is a pocket from Pink Fresh, and it's going to be a great place to hold a journaling card. It also brings some florals to the page. Next to that, I'm going to add a row of tags just to widen this a bit. I just realized that I didn't cut my yellow pattern long enough to extend under the pocket, so I'm just going to add a little scrap of print here, and then I'll layer it over the top of the tags. To ground all the elements, I'm adding a wood grain heart strip across the page. Once I have everything in place, I'll trim this down to size. To match the color of that wood grain, I'm going to bring in a journal card from the ephemera pack and place it in the pocket. I plan on adding quite a few vivid hues to this page, and these 2 neutral elements will help balance out the brighter colors. The Not Just for Boys group sets a monthly challenge for its members, and this month's challenge is to incorporate stencils into your work. On this page, I'm going to use 2 of the stencil designs that came with the kit. I'm going to start with this globe stencil and add a subtle background design with watercolor paints. On my glass board, I have created a pool of dark blue shimmers paint that has been watered down quite a bit. I'm going to pick up that paint with a blending sponge and lightly pounce this color on my page over the stencil. Stenciling with watercolors can be challenging. If you have ever attempted to stencil with watercolor paints, you have probably had issues with the paint seeping under the stencil and causing a blurred image. The solution is a sponge. I'm using a blender sponge, but a makeup sponge or a sponge dauber can also be just as effective. This sponge helps you regulate the amount of color being applied to the stencil, and it prevents the excess water from pooling over the images and leaking under the stencil. This gives you a much cleaner and well-defined design. One of the greatest advantages of using watercolors is that blending of color. Even with a sponge, you can still achieve that lovely water-washed look. I find that using an ample amount of water with these paints keeps them wet longer so that I can create a softer blend. While I finish filling in this stencil, I would love it if you tap that subscribe button and let me know that you're new here. If you are already a subscriber, go ahead and let me know that you're enjoying today's video by tapping that thumbs up icon or leaving a comment below. Once the watercolors are dry, I can add another layer of stenciling over the top. I'm going to use the Script stencil with some soft pink mousse and bring a little bit of color to the background. This mousse is a thick, whipped, creamy, water-based paint that acts just like paste. You can apply it with a brush, a spatula, your finger, or you can water it down and use it just like paint. The one I'm using will create a dimensional texture with a subtle metallic shine. If you're not a fan of the shine, there are also ones with a chalk finish and a crackle finish. Just like with any paste, you do need to clean off your stencil and tools right away. This mousse cleans off really easily with simple soap and water. Alright, I'm going to let this dry a moment and then I'll start putting my page together. Off camera, I adhered those pattern papers in place. I added some stitching around the yellow floral print and some zigzag stitching to the tags on the right. I'm going to start by adding my title to the page. The journal pocket has the word beautiful printed on it, so I'm going to build a title around this with a banner and a smaller black and white phrase. I'm also tucking a tab at the top of the page so that I can add a location or date. I have some black lettering on the journal card and in the title, so I'm going to bring a little bit of that black lettering over to the left side of the page with this little card. This card also has some more of that pink color that I added to the top of the page. Now I want to bring in a few items that reflect the region she was in. Over here on the left, I'm tucking some palm trees, and then I'll add some florals behind the photo in the pocket. Now I wanted these florals to adhere inside the pocket and still be able to have that journal card move freely. So I applied an ample amount of adhesive to the front of the floral piece so that it would stick to the front panel of the pocket. In true Vicki Boutin fashion, this ephemera back is filled with color. I'm being very purposeful about the items I select because I want to stick to the colors that I chose for this page. I'm also trying to find ones that are going to create a nice frame for my photos. Now, I wish I had a date stamp because that would have been a perfect place to add one on this tab. Instead, I'm going to add the word Haiti with those puffy letter stickers in a similar color to that of the title. When our daughter was in high school, she spent the better part of a month helping in clinics, schools, and orphanages. On this day, she was helping with a craft and had quite a few little ones surrounding her. These photos that they captured are simply precious, and I know that her experience had an impact on her life, which is why I want to make sure that I record this memory for her. Now I need to bring in just a little bit more of this bright pink. I only have one flower in this bright pink color, so I've gone ahead and cut it in half. Adding this color of flower above and below my pictures creates a wonderful triangle of color that frames those photos. To finish off this page, I'm going to bring in a little bit more yellow with a product strip. This just frames up the layout and adds a little more color to the design. On the left, I want to add a little pink tag and stamp, but I want to add some stitching first. So I'm going to go off camera and do that, and then I'll share the completed layout with you. Off camera, I stitched that border in place, added the little tag and some white twine. I also threaded some of the twine through the tags on the right to give these a little added texture and interest. To finish off the page, I brought in some clear baubles and added them to the center of my flowers. I'm going to share a few close-up photos of this layout so that you can see all the wonderful details. The Daydream Kit from Not Just for Boys has 3 great stencil designs that you can use to complete the June challenge. On this page, I was able to add some layered images in the background with watercolor paints and pearl paste. It's a very subtle design that was perfect for this layout. I hope that this project inspired you to give a few of these techniques a try. If you're one who enjoys pinning photos to inspiration boards, I have added still shots of this layout on the Not Just for Boys Kit Club blog and on my website for you to use. If you would like more ideas for using this kit, You can join the Not Just for Boys Kit Club community on Facebook and see even more designs. I want to thank you for joining me for another scrapbook project. If you have any questions about this design or the supplies listed below, feel free to post that in the comments. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.